Hey everybody, what's up? Gary Simon here. So today, this is an exciting video because I get to check out a new piece of software that really addresses something that we didn't quite have before, which that is a very easy way to deal and create with 3D elements for the web, or in other words, for your front-end development projects and something that works in the browser and on phones. So let me show you what we're going to create with it today. So this is the little project we're going to create. If I refresh, we'll see I have some initial animation and we're all able to define that. And as you can see, this thing is 3D. So it is from Spline. So spline.design. As far as I can see, it looks like a free tool. I was able to download and use it. You can get it for Mac OS and Windows, and I'm on Windows, of course. And it's actually a pretty strong and powerful tool. I'm really impressed with it. I only just started using it for like the last 2 days, so this isn't going to be an advanced type of tutorial, but I'm definitely looking forward to doing stuff like that in the future. But this should get you up and running though on a very basic concept. As we can see, this is the interface, and I'm gonna go over all of this momentarily. So as always, make sure to subscribe if you enjoy this, and let's get started. Now before we begin, don't skip this. Today, I have a challenge for you. Now that's right. At Scrimba.com, as a part of their 24 days of JavaScriptmas, today is my day where I get to challenge you to finish a carousel. That's right, your goal is to use JavaScript and Scrimba's interactive coding platform to make this JavaScript carousel actually function. If you click on the very top link here on YouTube, you will be taken to the JavaScriptmas page, and if you enter any of these challenges, mine included, you'll have a chance at winning $1,000 on Christmas Eve. So I'm definitely interested in seeing what you and others come up with. So click on the link here in YouTube, and then click on my challenge page to learn more about how to enter. I'll see you soon. All right, so here we are in Spline. So I just, go to their website. You can download it either for Mac or Windows. I'm on Windows here, and this is what you see initially. So you can check out, things that they've created in the past, like this bunny character. I'm going to click on that. I haven't actually checked it out yet. I'm curious to see what exactly is the situation here. So just a few couple tips in terms of maneuvering around. So to rotate around the view, all you have to do here on Windows at least is Alt and then just left click and drag. Nice and smooth. If you want to zoom in and out, just click on your mouse scroll wheel. To kind of pan up and down, you can use your mouse scroll wheel like that. And then to pan around, you can hold the space bar and left click. All right. So yeah, this is obviously checking out their these demo projects is a good way to get an idea about what the setup is, like how they created some different things with their settings. But for us, we're going to go ahead and just go back here, and we're going to click on New File, and that will get us started. So the first thing I'm going to do, you would think this is kind of like a canvas right here, and then the artboard. It's not really the case. This is just an object, like a rectangle that they give you with by default. We're going to delete it, but just to demonstrate a couple things with the interface itself. Over here on the left, we see we have it's kind of like the layers, which we're all used to from Photoshop and all that. As you can see, you can lock them and hide them and all that good stuff. Also up here, you can see that we have the ability to create a new object. You can see there's a bunch of different types of objects, so not just what you see up here, which they have by default, a rectangle, a circle, and also a cube and a sphere in type. But if you want other types of things to put in, like a pyramid or an isohedron, or I'm not even going to try to pronounce these things, or an empty object, and lights and cameras, it's all down here or up here in this plus icon right here. Next up, we have the ability to move things around, scale them, and rotate them, and then also hit play, which will give you the presentation mode, and we'll get into that in a little bit. Over here are the settings. So when you click on this, when you click on this out, like if you click on anywhere aside from one of your objects, you go back to the background color, the global settings here, where you could choose which camera to use, snapping, all this stuff, environment, fog if you wish, and then to publish it is right here. So to get to publish, you click on the background somewhere, And this gives you the ability to export a public URL or a web content, which will allow you to download it, or you can even do image and video as well. Very cool. So we're going to go ahead and delete that. And we want a different background color. And I actually have a specific color code here. We're going to use FF4444. All right, so we kind of have like this vibrant color here going. Now, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to put in a sphere. So when you click on it, this will mean when you draw it out here, you're going to have a sphere. So if we want to make sure that we have a nice perfect sphere, we can hold Shift. And if you want to go from the center of your original point from where you clicked, you hold Shift and Alt at the same time. All right, so now we can just move it around by dragging anywhere. But if you also want to move it, absolutely on the X-axis, you click on that little red arrow, and then this is the Y-axis, and then you can actually, if you want to access the other axis, which would be the Z-axis, I believe, we can hit Alt and we can left-click and drag. So now we see all three of them, and this is the blue one where we could push it depth-wise. Or scale it rather. All right, so for this one, let's go ahead and kind of make it a similar color to this background. So if we click on it, we'll see we have material. And we have lighting over here and the type of material. And you can play around with this, how this works. Like Lambert isn't so reflective, like we get rid of that shine. Fong gives you that kind of shine, more plasticky. Physical, and that's even more so in terms of being glossy, I guess you could say. And then tune. And then tune, you get a better understanding of what's happening with tune when you have more objects. It just makes it cartoonish. So we'll just do Lambert, and we're going to change our color here to something, very similar, maybe a little bit more orange. Yeah, like right around there. I think I like that. All right, and that's working, looking pretty good. What if we wanted to add another camera, or not a camera, a light? So like I said, we click on this plus, we can come down here. So we can do a directional light. All right, so the directional light is now right here. It's the new selection, and we can start moving this around, and you'll see how it will begin to affect your existing object. So maybe I want to push it over here. And then, of course, because we have it selected, we see in the properties, we have states and events, which we're going to get to in a bit. But for now, we'll overlook that. But for the light, we can change the intensity. Shadows, like will it cast shadows, yes or no? We're going to leave no on that. The size, which doesn't appear to be adjusting anything. I haven't really adjusted everything. I think some of these might be more in relation to some other types of lights. Correct me if I'm wrong, Team Spline. But anyhow, we can see the intensity can really brighten it up. Maybe I want to push this in the back more. So what I'll do is Alt-click, and we'll push this way. There we go. So we have something pretty interesting up here. We have a directional light right here in the center. And we can see how we're adjusting things. Again, yeah, maybe something like that. And again, you could also change the color that is emitted for the lights themselves. And again, just get it to where you want. I think I'm going to leave it, perhaps right around there. All right, and then next up, let's go ahead and add another type. So, of course, we can add all these types up here. There's just a few of them, but there's a lot more that we can add. So, I might want to have, let's see, a torus. So, I'm going to click here. Now, it's all about getting used to the 3D space. So, when we do this, we can see it's slightly behind it. We left click and drag. I want it to be a little bit more behind it. So what I will do is just push this back here. And maybe we'll push it down. All right, so over here, depending on the type of shape that you have, you're gonna have different properties. So we have over here, let's see, we have inside. so we can make it smaller. We have radial sides and tube sides. So if you decrease these, the more it's going to end up looking like a rectangle ultimately. So the more sides you have, the smoother it will be. Slice. This is kind of like it's almost like completing it into a full circle, like 360 degrees or half or whatever. We'll just leave that there all the way up. And then let's change this. I think I want to go with like black with this. Or almost black. All right, that looks cool to me. Maybe we're going to make this one bigger. Again, we can scale things up. So holding Shift, Alt, we can scale this up even higher. And again, if you want to make other adjustments to what's happening down here, there we go. You can do that at any point. Let's add one more, just for the fun of it, because this does get really fun. A helix. And what's really cool about the helix, we can have revolutions. We can scale it. All right. I think I'm going to have a little bit more revolutions here. We're not going to make it so thick. So let's see what exactly we have to adjust about this. I forget what it is off the top of my head. There we go. Like that. There we go. It's path radius. And let's go ahead and make this one kind of this color, which is almost kind of a white. All right. Again, I'm going to change this to Lambert. This one back here, I think I forgot to change that to Lambert as well. It just makes it a little bit less reflective. This is quite bright where it's at. Let's see. Let's bring this forward. Maybe off to the side. There I go. Kind of like that. Like I said, it is quite bright, so maybe I'll get in, yeah, something right around there. Looks good. All right. So, of course, there's a lot more other properties that I haven't really experimented with. Again, that's the fun in learning new software. You can take the time to learn more. So what we're going to do now, let's add in a final element before we get into the states and all that. And that'll be a text-based element. So I'm just going to drag out here, or rather, I'm going to click in here. There we are. And we can't see it because it's behind everything right now. But I'm going to type in all caps lock whoa 3D. So for now, we're going to make the font size big. We're going to extend this out so we can see it. Let's get it into the front, just in front of, there we go, that portion. And we're going to make it black. And we're going to get a better font. So I forget what I used. What is this? Yeah, I kind of like that one. All right. And let's go ahead and make it a tad bit bigger. And let's also fix it because now it went into that element. There. I kind of want this helix thing to kind of go through it. Let's also push this down. So we'll push this down right here. We'll take this down a little bit. Just kind of creating a composition overall. All right, something silly like that. All right, so I like that. That's all we're going to do for the actual modeling process and the materials and all that. There's so much more that you can learn though. I definitely want to do more, something more, a little bit more advanced in the future. But let's actually make this thing animate somehow, which we can do. So let's say, for instance, we want this one to come in first. So we have what are called states and then events. And they work hand in hand depending on what you want to do. So a state, if we click, if we have this, what is that, a torus? Well, if we have this ring selected and we click the plus icon in states, you'll see it gives you two states. A base state, which is what it is now, and then the state right here that you're going to go from. So it kind of helps you it creates two states just to help save you from the work. Because obviously you're going to have a base state and now we're going to have a second state. So the base state is what we're going to be going from in this case. So how do you want to animate this? Well, what it can animate is it doesn't animate like these specific properties right here, but it will animate, from what I found, basic stuff like position, scale, rotation, and stuff like that. I think it also will transition and animate, material color. But I couldn't get these ones to animate. I'm not sure if that was just my error or not. So they can let me know if that's the case or not. We can go ahead and let's just scale that down maybe to right here. So now we have our base state and then state 1. Now, the way we get these to actually animate between each other is to click an event. And it could be a type of mouse down, mouse up, hover, key up, key down, key up rather, and then start or look at. I'm not sure what look at is, but start at least is right when this thing loads. All right, so right when it loads, we're going to have it go from our object of torus, and we're going to have it go from base state to the state 1, and then cycle and repeat. These things, mean that it'll like keep on pulsing back and forth in one way or another. Do transition. Let's use spring because it's a different type of easing. That's pretty cool. And then you can animate this stuff as well, which is specific to the transition type. All right, so now if we go and click play, there we go. We can see it just kind of animates in. And because we're using the spring type, it kind of bounces a little bit. So now if we select this element right here, we can do the same thing in some way, shape, or form. So let's go ahead and add a state. For our base state right here, we'll just scale it down, do the same thing, add an event. This will be on start, this will be spring, and then delay. Maybe we'll delay at 0.3. So now if we hit play, all right, there we go. Very simple, as you can see. For this one, let's do one more animation type. We'll do a state, and this one is just going to pulsate up and down. Let's actually move it though. There we go. So now we'll add an event. This one will be start. This is going to be cycle and repeat. Let's just do no for this. There we go. Repeat. Ease in and out. Let's do spring again, and let's see what happens. So that's not what I want. So what I actually want here is for it to cycle, rewind. Okay, so let's see what happens there. Don't really like that. How about we keep on experimenting until I get this right? Dang it. Let's do... just ease in. There we go. All right, so repeat. Just a very simple animation, of course. All right, so now how do we actually preview this? So we click on the background. The type for now, we'll just do public URL. Rotate, pan, and zoom. That means if the user, do you want to allow the user to rotate and pan and zoom this thing when it's an actual HTML canvas element, which is how this is all constructed. Let's just leave that to yes and hit export. All right, we'll get out our browser here, paste that in, and there we go. Looks exactly as you would expect it to. So Control-Shift-I just to see what's happening here. We have our body, which is I have our background color here. We have the div ID container, and then the canvas element right here. So you could, integrate this into your front end or your project in any way that you see fit. And perhaps I'll do that in another tutorial, something that's perhaps a little bit more advanced by using Spline in with an actual user interface that you've created for the web. Awesome, awesome stuff though. All right, so hopefully you enjoyed that. If you did, let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure to subscribe, of course, and I'll see you all very soon. Goodbye.